Welcome to Nantyr Shore's virtual Remembrance Day Assembly. Today we honor those Canadian men and women who served and fought for our country.
Welcome to this year's Remembrance Day Assembly. We gather on this day every year to commemorate the sacrifice made for Canada and to honor the Canadian Armed Forces, whose members have given their lives for our freedom. Remembrance Day marks the end of the First World War. It has been celebrated on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Innisfil lost 83 men to World War I and World War II. We wish to honor their sacrifice as well as the Canadian men and women who died in the South African War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Afghanistan conflict, and Canadian peacekeeping missions. It is a day that we show respect and gratitude to these men and women. As a sign of respect, please remove your hats and put away any mobile devices.
Simcoe County District School Board acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. The Anishinaabe include the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people.
Please rise for our national anthem. Mia Sue Poe will be singing O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command thee.
We will now show a video on Canada's contribution of the Canadian Armed Forces.
On a cold April dawn, praying, Lord, keep me strong, for the hill here to climb, for the enemy crime. For my loved ones, Lord, help me go on. Do they think we're coming in lines? The secret is ours, and now I'm going over the wall at General Byng's call. And the creeping barrage I'm behind. Fire those guns, boys. Walk and don't run, boys. 100 yards in 3 minutes. Just keep your heart in it. As 1, 2, 3. Fire those guns. The burning smoke in my eyes, the wounded looking up to the skies. Blood where men fell, Vimy Ridge is my hell. But we're taking Hill 145. Fire those guns, boys. Walk and don't run, boys. 100 yards in 3 minutes. Just keep your heart in it. As 1, 2, 3. Fire those guns. The dust clouds finally clear. The pride of a nation draws near to blood-sacred lands where the monument stands. With the thousands who died in victory here.
ride with me. Fast falls the eventide. The darkness deepens. Lord, with me abide. When other helpers fail and comfort flee, help of the helpless, oh, abide with me. Swift to its close, ebbs out of life's little day. Earth's joys grow dim as glories pass away. Change and decay in all around I see. Oh, thou who changest not, abide with me. I fear no foe, with thee at hand to bless. Ills have no weight and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where grave thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me. Hold thou thy cross before my closing eyes. Shine through the gloom and point me to the skies. Heaven's morning breaks and earth's faint shadows flee. In life, in death, oh Lord, abide with me. Abide with me. Abide with me.
This is a single brass fastener pin. It's 100 years old. These are the pins that held together the military service records of each Canadian soldier who served in the First World War. When Library and Archives Canada began their mass digitization of soldiers' files, each of these pins had to be detached by hand. In total, there were 640,000 of them. Nobody knew what to do with all this brass, and so they asked an artist.
I wanted to do something with these fasteners that would preserve their meaning as historical artifacts, but that would also find a respectful way to convey the magnitude of human loss during these conflicts. Each fastener is stamped with a star, and there's unmistakable military symbolism attached to the gold star when you think about the sacrifice that these families have made. And it was that gave me my inspiration for this. I started by focusing on the 5 major battles of the First World War that involved the Canadian Expeditionary Force.
After determining the geographical coordinates of each of these battles, Hatton generated star maps of what the skies would have looked like on the nights following each of these major conflicts. Then, she got to work. The result is a series of star charts titled Detachment. These pieces show us exactly how the stars appeared 100 years ago. The first night after the fighting was over. The skies that, no doubt, the surviving soldiers would have been looking up at.
This series is a tribute to peace, sacrifice, timelessness, and remembrance. Regardless of your political view, stars are a cross-cultural constant that we look to for direction, whether that's spiritual or navigational. They're a universal way that we recognize and memorialize the fallen.
In Flanders Fields, a war poem was written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, a doctor from Guelph, Ontario, is still recognized and recited every Remembrance Day. The poem was written shortly after the loss of his friend during the Battle of Ypres. In Flanders Fields is the most recognized and quoted poem from the war and reflects the sacrifice of our armed forces for Canadians.
In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row by row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below.
We are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields.
Take up your quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
We will now take part in the act of remembrance. Please repeat the chorus. The act of remembrance. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor years condemn them. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We shall remember them.
In military tradition, the last post signifies the end of the day's activities. It is also played at military funerals to indicate that a soldier has gone to his or her final rest. The last post is a final farewell symbolizing the duty of the fallen soldier and now can rest in peace. Today we will take 2 minutes of silence to commemorate all armed forces who have fought for our country and freedom. Please stand for the playing of the last post. After the song, we will have 2 minutes of silence for us to reflect on Remembrance Day.
This concludes our Remembrance Day Assembly. Thank you for remembering and honoring these brave men and women who served and fought for Canada.